there.
Yeah, we can let him do his thing. You can go to the Lions thing if that's okay. If that's,
Yep.
Yeah. Re-roof project. Mr. Johnstone has info.
Yes, and so one, thank you for hearing this one. Originally, I think we took this contract through the Finance Committee as quick as possible. This is a change order to the track for the Lions for Kids House. There was some additional damage to the roof that was not, just didn't know about when placed. That damage, that is the change order. Because it's ARPA funds, normally $2,200. I don't know that we would necessarily worry about coming back through committee and then through council in order to get the approval, but Sherry recommended because it's ARPA funds that we go through the process.
Make sure the feds don't get their fur in the ruffle.
Exactly. So that's what I have in front of you this evening, $22.75 and change, and we would be moved to consent at next week's council meeting to give approval.
So do you want $1,000 from the Lions Club for it? Since you have, because the kids' house themselves will get $700, the Lions Club will give it $300. Or we're just waiting for approval from our group. So
yeah, we just have to look at that gift section in the code.
Yeah, it's section 2, I believe it is, or
council
3.
has to formally accept.
Well, I've talked to every party, so David, go and put that in minutes, please.
The original agenda bill for the contract for this job, I cited the code section. It has to formally accept the donation. It's pretty easy. That's all there is to it.
Here's what it is.
Yeah.
You don't know until you get into it.
Yes or no?
He's a
yes or no?
Here's what it is. That's the new yes. That's the new yes.
I have no comment.
No, these are good. You know, the job's already done, of course, right? And because normally they just invoice you for more type of thing. Federal fund or issues with that, and they would just say, "Oh, the job actually costs this." Because the change order thing wouldn't be, you know, it's pretty.
Yeah,
you already did it, right?
Yeah, in this case, as I understand it, they actually did meet with, I think. Yeah, he gave a verbal approval.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that seems fine, right?
You get a work fit for that?
Yes. As far as I know.
Oh, we did. We got into the wood, as Debbie knows. Yeah, the plywood.
Did they fix that? Or the shed
It looks like it. I haven't heard anything, so I looked at it. You know if they did or not?
I don't know.
Yay, very good. Excellent.
And also variance. And originally we had an bids came in at $100,000 or $180,000, which is over checking the bids. Checked it, and currently right now I'm going to do Veterans Memorial. Also working, are requiring us to do a lot of traffic control. So we're changing the scope of the work so it's not expensive of constructing a frame around it. We have means to make it come in under budget. Like the market was going to be sorted. So that's what this is for.
So what are you doing on that? What is your plan? What is the work you're planning on doing?
So there's a C-curb along South Prairie Road that you can see it's kind of like bumped out a little bit. Trucks keep on hitting it. So we're going to replace it. We're going to remove it, and then we're going to put a new concrete. That the one we wanted was extensive, strong, higher, so the trucks don't hit it.
It's on South Prairie.
South Carey,
In front of-
200s, and then Veterans Memorial Drive. We're gonna take away the Veterans Memorial.
What's the state have to do with that?
So they have the signal that's off of,
On the
it's off
traffic
410, and in order to remove it, we're actually blocking. And so
Okay.
because of that, they're requiring us to. And so what we're gonna do is, no, we're gonna remove it, but then we're gonna do work that's actually not build a frame structure, we actually have a truck that can get out, done and get out of there.
Yeah, because the original, that was what the South Prairie one was done like eons ago. Probably been redone. Concrete, whatever curbs or something.
When now, that we just brought in.
Intersection?
That was the standard back then, apparently, or well, or
Yeah, that was, that would have been done by the
because the new kind of what Jack's talking about, isn't there kind of what we're doing out here, 410 and right on 410 coming up, I guess.
Yeah, the same type of structure, we were gonna use that for the South Prairie, we're just not gonna use that because it was too expensive. We would have liked to do it this year. Afford it, so now we're just gonna have one that kind of sits over the top of it.
Yeah.
That one you're looking at actually goes down about
Oh,
6 to
really?
8 inches down. Can't do it.
So
Yeah.
that we'll be back with
Moving on.
other,
The next time.
but there you are going to go out to bid again with a different design. That was it. Yay, I agree.
Yes. I agree.
I was
You
gonna
are
say,
the
I was gonna
only
go
one
retire and go to
here.
Northwest Cascade and be a traffic control super. 15 grand until Jack said it was night work.
Yeah, I'm doing nice.
They don't pay enough to do good work.
Oh man, look at that, biggie. Then we'll go back, John.
Yeah.
Public services. Finishing report, right? We're done.
Yeah, I'm moving it next week.
Yeah, it's so pretty. We took the tour.
Yeah, you were there, right?
That was
You
it.
saw, got to see.
Very nice.
You guys did a great job.
So both of you have been there, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll look at quickly at the building pictures that I have attached here. Picture one is the overall site conditions. You can see where it's paved on the west side, the west half. That landscaping's underway. You can see some of the dirt in the front. Then the second picture is building D. The forms are up and ready for concrete pour. It looks like that'll happen in about a week. And then you can also see kind of in the background, you can see the peaking storage and then all of the pallets for the
Community solar project.
solar, yeah, the PSD solar project, right? So they're hoisting them up on the top of that peaking storage tank right now. That's also underway.
You know, from all of our pictures of seeing this water tank there is so huge. When we toured that day, I could hardly see it because all the dirt you raised there, and all you see the very top of it. So,
Yeah.
wow, what a
Isn't that
difference.
something?
Yeah, it is. I was there way back when, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it's dirty, but which is nice.
And then the last picture I put in here is just building E, and they have all of the rebar prepared for the concrete pour that's going to start tomorrow. So that'll be the floor of building E is going to get poured tomorrow. It's about 200 yards of concrete. Bars in. See the forms up, and a little building that have inside there for
Bruce.
is getting close to getting completed as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And just for the RFI, request for information, that totals at 349. Last time we met it was at 330, so those are obviously slowing down. Change orders were at 79. The last time we met it was 75. We've approved 900,000 Last time we met, it was 837. Right now, we're at about 6% of the project costs in change orders. Our budget was, that fourth bullet is the 800,000, was about 5% is what we estimated. Potential change orders are almost 1.6 now, which is about 10% of the project cost. So that did increase since the last time we met. I just personally, I think we're going to probably be in the 1.4 million range when we're all done. Yeah.
What keeps causing additional change orders out there? Just minor.
There's probably a myriad of things. So there's we had to do some improvements to the driveway approach. That was probably about 30. Probably going to be about 35,000, which is a smaller number. But when we did phase 2, we didn't get it right. So changes there on the comp. We're doing that. That's an extra thing that was thrown. We missed rebar in the driveway approach, which is, if you look at your first picture, it's concrete from the driveway approach all the way back to here.
That's where your trucks come in, right?
That's right. That's where the trucks come in. And that driveway approach didn't have rebar in the detail that they bid on. So that's 50,000 plus change order. There were other ones that came. I don't have them all in front of me to show you where, but when I went through them with Brian, I just didn't see where we could say no to quite a bit of it. So just looking at, I think that we can probably be at 1.4. So then onto the working days and budget. Original contract was 270 days. They said they'd be done. Originally, we would be done July 13th, 21. And if you go to the last bullet point, looks like we're going to be done around July 21st. So exactly a year later. Currently, we're at working day 440. They have requested 140 working days. The change order request that the change orders that we're looking at, which would bring that total to about 491, which is about 2.5 months, which gets us to right about July 21st is about 45 days more from where we're at, just roughly 45 days. So their request is like 50 days. So it's pretty darn close to being done. I know. Eventually, they're just running out of stuff to do.
June 1st, a big day.
It's like doing this, and we're slowly catching up with it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
eventually we'll catch up. And right now, we're at about 93% spent. Just overall, the second half of that paving is about the third week of June. We'll have it paved near the end of June. At that point, they should be installing the roof on building.
Sean, remind you that roof is the clear span structure.
That's a clear span structure. That timing was, getting them. I guess they come from out of state not from. Get that scheduled. Did have it pushed to the part of June. By the time they get it all done.
How's your wiring coming?
Well, we had. I thought we had CenturyLink lumens on site last week. Monday they showed up and then he left, and I have not been able to get them to come back out. He claimed that there was a blockage in the fluid, and when I went out there and looked, I didn't see anything that he would have been able to determine that there was actually a blockage. If there's any blockage. They've been at some spot, then left. So that's a little disappointing,
right? To
get the utility. And then I did email again our contact, see where that person was. I think it's North Sky. But we have not been able to bring them. That's the last. We got Comcast. So I think we have Zayo. We've got the other groups there. We just don't have. CDC's done their job. We're at about 93.5%. But I would say, I know we've had a meeting with BGI and Reagan. He was saying he wanted to be done at the end of June. Realistically, looking at
There was a lot of stuff those buildings still didn't put away.
oh yeah, you were out there recently, right? Looking around, it makes you
The
kind of
main
scratch
part
your head a
looks,
little
looks so good, but you go in those with the trucks still, and there's a lot of stuff in there.
bit. All this kind of stuff. So, a lot of people running around doing work, which is good. But I still think
Yay, fun,
Yay.
huh?
Only been a year.
Over.
two.
2,
Nice.
10 years.
Nice.
More than
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. There's more.
I came in 7. They were talking about it back then.
Yeah, they were talking about it. Awesome. Good, they're just talking.
Someday.
Trying to put one in Sumner too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Kathy?
If you see it, throw the bids up.
Don't have to worry about Ryan going down to be the project manager.
Yeah, it's true.
Pretty good.
Open discussion? Except for
Sure.
that.
Yeah, with minutes.
Yes, we had some corrections. Debbie has them.
Okay, cool.
My corrections.
Open discussion.
How'd the tour go for the waste facility with your, with the
Keeps-
group down there? Anything of interest come up in conversation?
You know, my impression, and both John and Jack are there, they can chime in, but I think it went pretty well.
Yeah.
I think there were some good questions. There was a lot of conversation. Sumner staff did a really good job. I think that for that group, I think it was all their first time being down there.
I don't know if Terry's been in.
I don't think so.
And
I don't
so-
remember.
I think anytime it's your first time going to a plant that size, but yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, lots of questions, lots of, what's this cost? Where's the plant going? What do these upgrades look like that are coming down?
That's the important part.
Yeah. So I definitely think there'll be more discussion as we move forward with the rate analysis.
Everything they're doing.
2.5 hours?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
2.5
It
hours.
was more like 2
That
hours.
was a long time.
Yeah. But Sumner staff was really patient, took a lot of time to talk to. Opportunity.
Excellent. What you doing there?
Okay.
That's all I got.
If I didn't want
Go
to
ahead.
interrupt if you had anything, Dan, but I just had one thing I wanted to bring, if I could, during the roll back time, just a couple weeks ago to the ped bike program grant
Uh-huh.
discussion that we
Yep.
had,
Sure.
specifically talking about, and I'm pointing at, got the picture right there, for Fennel Creek Trail 3A. Talked about that. What we talked about was that the project we're estimating right now is about $65 million. Historically, this program awards max at about $4.5 million. So we were looking at, more than likely, the city would need to up a match of about $2 million. The discussion that night was that the application for that would include that. Talking with our consultants a little bit here, I just wanted to make sure that moving forward, we were still all on the same page with that. There was some discussion, Dan, I think that night you had mentioned, hey, that's the history, but what's the likelihood that they could award more than that,
Right.
The discussions we've been having with our consultant is that it's probably not going to happen, that they would award the full value, and that in order to be competitive,
Sure.
we're going to be going up against projects that do have match money.
Oh, yeah.
So we need to, if we want to be competitive and want to have a shot at getting this grant award, we're going to need to show match money on the application.
And we think that 4 is probably the biggest ask we're going to get. So the difference is going to be ours. In this case, it would be about 30% change.
So I just wanted to revisit that and make sure we were still on the same page there, and I didn't know.
Where,
If that
where do we
was-
get the money from?
Where are you
is the
gonna
question,
get the
right?
ideas where you get the money from? You can't
Yeah,
keep taking park money, there's nothing left of it, you know.
right. I just wanted to make sure that, I didn't know if there